Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is the Ross Kaminsky Show.
You're a great American.
Now, Ross Kaminsky.
Come on, man.
On Denver's talk station, 630 KHOW.
All right, we're getting there. We are getting there. It's Thursday morning. It's my favorite day of the week. I just had a bite of some kind of little protein bar thing. They had them out in our what passes for a kitchen here at iHeart. And it's one of these fancy things, you know, it's got egg whites and dates in it and stuff and no chemicals or artificial anything, which I suppose that's fine. I'm not used to eating stuff that doesn't have artificial flavor and color, but I can try, right? My wife actually Kristen made a very nice steak salad for dinner 2 nights ago, and that seemed to be fairly, kind of healthy, and I almost felt good about myself about eating something healthy. But
Producer Shannon.
Mm-hmm. Yes?
But it is National Eat Your Vegetables Day.
Is it really? Oh, I forgot. Shannon, did we not miss yesterday, I think, National Fudge Day? I think we missed National Fudge Day, which would have been one of the most important days of the year. No. I mean, this protein bar I'm eating is peanut butter chocolate, so I guess that's as close as I'm getting to fudge. And they say it has dates in it, so maybe that'll count for National Eat Your Vegetables Day, even though dates aren't a vegetable, but it's probably as close as I'm going to get. Oh my gosh, I'm clearly in a weird mood today. We got some very interesting guests today. In about an hour, we're going to have Pat Michaels, who we had many times on the show when he was at the Cato Institute. He's at CEI now, the Competitive Enterprise Institute. He's the past president of the American Association of State Climatologists. And we are going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the debate over so-called climate change. But the main thing we're going to talk about is a piece that he wrote just a week ago entitled "The Death Spiral of American Academia." And I am really, really looking forward to this conversation, and I think you are going to find it interesting and important and kind of scary. At 8:05 this morning, although the time is irrelevant if you're listening on the podcast, we're going to be joined by Chris Wright, who is the CEO of Liberty Oilfield Services. And actually, you know what? I think I might, if I can get this thing working here, I might actually start off with a little audio this morning and share with you the 1-minute version. There's also a 3-minute version, but I want to share with you the 1-minute version of Chris Wright talking about the North Face. And you will recall the North Face made some news some months ago when an oil and gas company wanted to buy North Face shirts or jackets or something, I don't remember what, for their employees and have the company logo also stitched into the North Face, whatever the thing was. And North Face said, no, we don't want to do business with an oil and gas company. So here's what Chris Wright had to say about it.
I'm Chris Wright, CEO of Liberty Energy. North Face recently came out against my industry, even refusing to let one of my competitors put their company logo on a North Face jacket. I went through North Face's website of wide-ranging products, and I failed to find a single product that wasn't made out of oil and gas. The great majority of North Face's products, jackets, backpacks, outdoor pants, shirts, shoes, hats, etc., are dominantly made out of the oil and gas that we so proudly produce. Globally, 60% of all clothing fibers are made out of oil and gas. For North Face, it is likely 90% or more. So North Face is not only an extraordinary customer of the oil and gas industry, they are also a partner with the oil and gas industry. So thank you, North Face, and you're welcome.
And right there on the screen, it says, so why does North Face hate the oil and gas industry? It's brilliant. And we got to call out this hypocrisy always and everywhere, and that's one of the best I've seen, and we're going to talk with that guy at 8:05 today. I also want to let you know about a couple things we have going on tomorrow, because I'm very excited about tomorrow's guests, too. So we're going to have one woman on from the website Bumble, and we're going to talk about how the pandemic changed dating. We're going to have Andrew Miltenberg, attorney who's been on the show a lot. He represents typically young men who are unjustly accused and unfairly treated when in college, typically. When some young woman who often feels guilty about having had one drink too many and fooled around with a guy, then accuses the guy of having raped her. He represents these young men, and there was just a case right here against the University of Denver that we're going to get updated on. And then, hey, Shannon, check this out. 8:05 a.m. tomorrow, Dennis DeYoung, lead singer of Styx. I am so excited. All right, we got a lot of other stuff to do today, so let me jump into some things. I mentioned yesterday that a house that I can see from my backyard, kind of like the way Sarah Palin can see Russia. By the way, she didn't actually say that. Saturday Night Live pretended that she said that, but it's still kind of funny. A house that I can see from my backyard just sold for $1 million over its listing price. And I spoke about this yesterday, and I said, even though it probably raises the value of my home, I don't live in a neighborhood quite as fancy as the one that house is in, but it's near my house-ish. So even though that transaction would raise the value of my home and make it more valuable if I want to sell it, it pisses me off for a couple of reasons. First, I don't plan on selling soon. You never know what'll happen in life, but I don't plan on selling this house soon. We've put a lot of work in it, and we like it, and it's close to the radio station, which is good for my job, and it's in a decent school district, so I like all that. We don't plan on selling it soon. So this stupid sale for, these people listed their house for 2.4 and sold it for 3.5. This stupid sale is going to jack up our property taxes bigly the next time they do an assessment. I mean, I guess if there's any good news, this is very early in the assessment period, so maybe there'll be some other stuff that'll push this one down in terms of importance, but this is just nuts. The analogy I used yesterday was when Americans go to a country where they don't tip waiters and, don't tip waitstaff, and an American will tip a waiter, and the locals get pissed off. Like, you're making us all look bad, or you're making waiters now expect a tip. That's not what we do here. Don't do that. Waiters in our country get paid, full wages. It's not like the United States where the minimum wage for tipped workers is lower. So don't do that, because you screw it up for everybody else. And that's how I feel about the people who paid $1 million. These Californians, I'm told, who paid $1 million over to get this house because they wanted to make sure they got it because apparently it's near where their grandchildren are. I would note, just one quick thing. A listener posed an excellent question yesterday, and that is, if Californians are leaving California to buy houses here, who's buying the homes that they're selling in California? I don't know, but clearly there's still a lot of demand in California because prices went down there much more than here during COVID, but they're up 30% now from last year, right? Last year was weak, but they're up 30% from last year, and home prices in California continue to be sky high. And for people in popular areas of California, they can still sell a place there and come here and buy just as nice a place for a lot less money, or a much nicer place for the same money. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up today is that yesterday, when I got home and I was researching what I wanted to talk about on the show today, I saw a piece at CNN's website, a CNN business website, that pointed out to me that what just happened at that house that's not too far from me is not all that rare. This is pretty nuts. And I will say, before I share the story with you, I think what we're witnessing here is quite unhealthy in the long run, and also really, really bad for younger people who are just making their way up in the world, getting their jobs, their first jobs, or maybe their third jobs, and now they've got some experience and they're getting a raise and they're really moving up professionally. They're not making big money yet. They haven't had a lot of time to save up a bunch of money, but they're doing better in life. Maybe getting married, maybe thinking about having kids. By the way, that women under 30 having kids, those numbers are way, way, way down. But anyway, these folks want to buy a home. They've been renting for a while. They're ready to have a little more stable life, maybe have a kid and all that. And when you have people paying insane prices for houses in a particular market, just because that market is cheaper than the market they're coming from, well, not just because, but partly because, it makes all these homes unaffordable for new people and for young people, right? My kids are too young to be looking at buying their own home. I mean, my kids are, middle school and high school age, but, one day, I bought a condo. I bought my first place that I owned. I'm trying to think how old I was when I bought it. I want to say, gosh, I want to say 26 or something like that. 27? I don't know. Something like that. And I was doing okay as a 27-year-old, probably better than the average 27-year-old, but still, the stuff was fairly affordable for lots of people who were my age at the time, and now it's not. Here's the CNN headline. The housing market is so hot, buyers are paying $1 million over asking price. So apparently, it's not just the house that I can see from my backyard. What do home buyers have to do to get a house in this cutthroat real estate market? Offer sellers a Caribbean vacation, bid $1 million over the asking price, pay a competing bidder hundreds of thousands of dollars to walk away? What about buying 2 homes just to live in one? Believe it or not, these are real offers, and sometimes they actually work. Now, how about that part, the sometimes part? How about the fact that they don't always work? All of those things. Are you kidding? They quote a real estate agent named Esty Perez, who says, you hear about buyers throwing sweeteners into the mix, wine, dinners to get the house. Then along comes a buyer that's like, hold my beer. Let me take this up. Perez said one of his clients was in a bidding war on a $530,000 home and offered $25,000 over the asking price. The other top offer was only $15,000 over, but then that buyer also threw in 10 Ether coins. Right, if you heard about Ethereum and all this Bitcoin and crypto stuff, so Ether is a form of crypto. That buyer also threw in 10 Ether coins, which in early May, when Ethereum was trading around 3,900, so that's worth almost 40 grand. Perez said, we couldn't beat that. My client couldn't offer any crypto to counter that. It was kind of laughable. In many hyper-competitive markets where all cash offers that are well over the asking price are standard fare, buyers have found some jaw-dropping ways to stand out. I love this one. A buyer in Austin, Texas, bought 2 houses to get the one he or they or she really wanted. Competing against 50 other offers on the home, the buyer offered more than $100,000 above the asking price, all cash, according to the agent. That offer was matched by other buyers. So to seal the deal, okay, listen to this now. Brown's the real estate agent, Brown's buyer offered something extra to buy the seller's next house. Although the buyer paid Altogether, the buyer paid $1 million for a $500,000 home. Buyers are coming here living in $1 million condos and seeing that they can buy a 3,000 square foot house for less. They're saying, even if I pay more, I'm only in for $1 million? Now listen to how clever this is. Brown said that his buyer was concerned that putting all the money toward the home they wanted would cause the property taxes to shoot up. So what they did was they put the extra money toward a new home for the seller and kept it in a separate transaction. Brown got an understanding of the seller's needs and their plans for their next purchase. Together with the buyers, they crafted a deal that had two distinct transactions. The home the buyer wanted, listed in the 400s, and a new home for the seller that was listed in the 300s. Both went over their listed price and were paid for in cash by the buyer. That not amazing? Think about that. You see a house you want to buy, and you're willing to pay, $100,000 over on a $450,000 house. So you're willing to pay more than 20% over the asking price. And they say, I don't know. And like, okay, I got an idea. I'll buy your house and I'll buy you a new house. Oh my gosh. So they ended up paying, I don't know the exact number, but close to $1 million for a home that was listed in the 400s. Pretty clever, though. Buy the person's other house rather than paying all that money just for your house. That, in fact, that's what my people should have done. It's probably too late to get them to change it, but that's what the people who were in the house near me should have done, rather than screwing up the property taxes for all the rest of us. Oh my gosh. A 3-bedroom mid-century home on a cul-de-sac in Berkeley, California, with an expansive view of the bay, was nearly a one-of-a-kind property, said Jill Kerrigan, an agent who listed it this spring. It ticked all the boxes for a lot of people. I've never had a property with 29 offers, and buyers were upping their offers without us even countering. The Bay Area is always competitive, but this was something I'd never seen before. Listed at $1.15 million, the home sold in 2 weeks for $2.3 million in cash, double the asking price. Wow. People are getting very creative in their offers, the agent says. Sometimes it's a photo finish and someone's throwing in Warriors tickets. It could be a tiebreaker, but at the end of the day, it is money and a clean offer that usually win. And there's more where this story came from, but that's all I got time for right now. When we come back, we're going to do something really different. Airbnb has a really interesting opportunity coming up. The chance for you to travel for a year for free, living in all kinds of destinations. We'll talk about it next.
KHOW Denver, 630 KHOW, an iHeartRadio station. Available everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts.